What's up, y'all? It's Mace Blanco. I don't need Clout the podcast. Last time y'all saw me, man, I was in my rapper mode. Now I'm back on my podcaster stuff. You know what I mean? I was breaking down the album that I dropped, telling y'all what it meant to me, telling y'all how all of the songs came about. Now y'all got Podcast G's back again. Like I said, man, on that other episode, man, y'all never know what kind of version of me you're going to get today. It's always the same person, man. I don't change my morals and my values or things like that, man. But depending on how I'm feeling a certain day, man, y'all might get a different version of me, you know? But I did want to say one thing, man. Just today, somebody had mentioned something. It was like the last thing that I said on one of my episodes, man. I was like probably 17 minutes deep into an episode, and somebody had a question about the last thing that I said. And to me, as a podcaster, as anybody that does YouTube, y'all know, man, y'all listen for 17 minutes. Y'all listen to me ramble for 17 minutes, man. I'm greatly appreciative of that. And I'll answer that question for you. You know, personal off to the side, but yeah. All right, y'all. So today's episode, man, we getting into it. Today is about choices. And with choices comes accountability. So I know people hate that, but hear me out, though. Hear me out. I got something for you. And I realized this at this point in my life is that every single thing is a choice. Every day when you wake up, you got choices to make. Even the time that you wake up in the morning is your choice. Now, you might got some circumstances dictating that, but it's really your choice or your choices that led you to that point. And when I say like the time that you wake up, just recently there was a video that went viral. Man, people are it's kind of like a parody at this point, but people are posting their morning routines, all of this crazy stuff they do in the morning. They wake up at like 3:45 or 4:30 in the morning. They dunk their head in a bowl of ice water. They go do aerobic, all this type of stuff. They go walk the beach and they, it's really unrealistic for a lot of people. I would never want anybody to think that that's what success is. They're successful in their own way if they can do what they want. They make time for the things that are important to them, but you do not by any means have to have your life looking anything like that to be successful. And this is the accountability part that I want to highlight. Like, this is the part that some people have a hard time justifying because we like to blame somebody else for our circumstances, or I was raised this type of way, or I was brought up this. And this is where a lot of the excuses come in, but exactly where you are right now, and I mean like this moment in time, this level of success in every measure is based on the choices that you made. Drop one of them sound effects. Nah, but really, like where you are in this exact moment, the people that you have around you, the friends that you chose, your financial situation, your education level, your criminal history, if you have one, all of that was choices that you made, or a choice that led to another choice that put you in a circumstance that led to another choice. And it's just this snowball effect if it was good choices or bad choices. And I know it's some anomalies out there, like people that have been like wrongly convicted. I personally know a few people that have been wrongly convicted. Thankfully, some of their cases got overturned. But for 99% of you or 95% of people out there, your choices are dictating exactly where you're at right now. So I'm not unaware or insensitive about that type of, situation if somebody was wrongly convicted, but we can use a better example would be like a high school dropout. Again, people want to lean on these anomalies in the data where they're like, well, Jay-Z dropped out of high school and look how successful he is and all these accomplishments and accolades, and he got, something in the library named after him, and he was an owner of the Nets. Like, bro, I'm gonna crush you with this reality check, but you're not Jay-Z. You're not gonna be Jay-Z. You would never be Jay-Z. You would never be another man. Bruh. You can only wake up and be yourself. And I'm not going to say it's not possible, because there is this tiny, slim chance of hitting the lottery type of odds that you can turn being a high school dropout with no education, not pursuing more education, and be successful like that. It's slim to none, but you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, there's a reason why they tell kids to stay in school. As much as we love to hate on the education system, bro, keep your ass in school, or at least at least learning something, because the thing is, the people that do drop out, like, bro, if you so advanced like that, go ahead and finish school early. We got all these programs, you know what I mean? I know a lot of students that finished school early when they were younger, 16, 17, whatever. I just met a kid the other day that finished high school at 15, and there's some other repercussions that come with that too. But what I'm trying to say is the average high school dropout is making way less money. They're having way less success. They're getting way less opportunities. That's a bad choice. Statistically, it will make every aspect of your life harder in this society. You're going to have to jump through hoops and do a whole bunch of extra shit, bro. I promise you. I know high school dropouts too. I promise you that's not going to be the choice that you want to make. And I wouldn't encourage everybody to go to college, but at least finish high school. There's data, and I'll post the data up here. There's data that shows that the higher education levels that you have, the more money you end up making in return. Now, don't be out here doing some damn gender studies degree and thinking that you're going to make money like you're some kind of, lawyer or something. I'm not saying that either, but just pursue learning more, pursue getting more skills. Even if you go to trade school, bro, you're going to make a lot more than someone that dropped out of high school and stopped pursuing any kind of education. But basically, every single choice that you make impacts your life in some kind of way, whether that's big or small. It might affect your family or your future family. Like, even what you decide to eat for breakfast and lunch and dinner, like what you put into your body, all of that is a choice. You don't have to eat junk food. You don't have to eat snacks. Like, taking care of yourself is a choice. Getting exercise is a choice. Getting sunlight is a choice. All of these choices have a direct impact on what outcome you're going to get. Like, being obese at 30 comes from all the bad eating habits and bad choices you made when you were 20. All that fast food you were consuming. All them late nights. Type 2 diabetes at 40 coming from all that extra sugar you were consuming in your 20s and 30s. What you have now is a direct result of all the choices that you made previously. And this isn't me talking down on nobody, bro. Like, again, if you need to adjust your diet and all that stuff, if you got to take Ozempic or anything like that, bro, I'm in favor of that, because honestly, getting your health right is probably the best choice that anyone could ever make. Stop smoking, stop drinking, start hitting the gym, start getting your sleep routine in order. This is all stuff that I had to learn to do. I did all of that same shit that I just mentioned. I've been there and I've done that. So this is really coming from like a place of compassion, bro, because I really had to make these adjustments and course correct all the choices that I made that were the wrong choices. Who knows where I would have been had I made the right choice sooner. But you know what they say? They say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time to plant a tree is today. That's all I really wanted to get across, bro, is like how empowering it is. God gave us free will to make choices. Like, accountability is empowering, realizing that the choices that I make really have an impact on the rest of my life and the rest of my kids' life and maybe the rest of my grandkids' life when we get to that point. And for the the opposing argument to this, right? Like, if you just feel like it don't really matter, like everything's predestined, someone that's out to get you is out to get you. Like, if you don't believe that your decisions have that kind of great of an impact on things, really, you're giving your power away. If you don't got no superpower, if you don't believe you got no superpower, it's your decision making. I'm not going to give that power away thinking that this person has control over me or this presidency, is going to control and dictate my life. There is definitely some factors, like I said, with the people that are wrongfully convicted. Like, some things you can't control, but what you do with those circumstances, like who the president is, how the economy is, what jobs you have available to you, your education level, like what you do with your circumstances. If you were raised in a 2-parent household, if y'all grew up having money, or if y'all grew up under the poverty line, what are you going to do? What choices are you going to make based on those circumstances? If you think everything just happens to you instead of happens for you, then you're going to adopt this victim mentality, bro, and you'll never win until you switch that. When you just go right to the victim mentality, that shit gotta fuck with your state of mind. It gotta fuck with your confidence level. It's gonna affect all other aspects of your life when you think somebody's putting me down and I can't do all these things or whatever. Move on, apply for the next job. That's what I did. I ended up getting a way better job. This shit worked out. I never thought nothing of it. I applied for hundreds of jobs. I didn't get most of them. I got one of them. If I got one job out of 100 jobs I applied for, that's a 1% return on investment of all the time that I spent. I got one offer out of that. Just don't let your mentality cripple you, to squander other opportunities in the future. Like, that really reminds me of, like, sometimes you got to accept the apology that you never got. It's just like that, to where, like, if it is or it ain't, it wasn't, So you just got to move on, extract the best possible lessons that you can from that, how you handle situations when you don't just react with emotion, you react logically, and you like, yo, back to the choices and accountability. I have choices to make. What choice would be better for the circumstances? If I flip out, spaz out, F everybody, F the world, you know what I mean? Or do I ask questions? There's a whole different way you can go about certain things, but it all comes down to the choice of how we handle stuff, the choice of how we react. Because a lot of time, I'm no different. I'm not a saint. I try to do the right thing. I'm a calm person. I like to think about stuff. I won't give y'all my initial reaction. It depends on what it is. You know what I mean? If it's something serious though, I'll sit and think about it. I'll give myself time to react. I'll respond to it tomorrow, because being calculated is a choice. It got me a lot further in life. I definitely went off, emotional rants and all type of shit. You know what I mean? I saw the outcome that got me, and I started to understand. I started to be able to make better choices, and I learned from those different experiences. And again, man, not even just like work stuff. Again, like I've been saying this on the podcast, but my son passed away. That was not a choice. That's not a choice of mine. I would never choose that. I would probably give myself so that he could be out here. But my choice that I have is my reaction to adversity, my reaction to what happens and what I do after that. It's a shame. But like sometimes grief, man, grief is a bitch. Grief comes in all different, type of forms, man. And some people honestly never recover from losing a loved one. I know people that lost their dad or lost their brother, and they just never been the same person again. From somebody that experienced loss, I actually do understand where they're coming from. It can be a real messed up situation, man, especially how it happens or if it's sudden. We would love if everybody just passed from old age, but in reality, that's just not how things work. But yeah, man, so in my own life, I'm going to keep making those decisions that put me in a better spot. I advocate for y'all to make decisions. Think about the decisions that you make. You can't change decisions that you made, but you can correct some things, or you can course correct and start to make better decisions moving forward for yourself. And yeah, man, I just made some monumental life-changing choices for me. I'm not going to share exactly what it is right now, but just know I got something brewing up. I got some episodes scheduled for y'all. Everything's going to continue and keep coming just like that, man. I see you next time. I see you on the other side.